Almost 90% of Amazon's firings in Washington state were from the city of Seattle. Do you think that might be because the city of Seattle has, I don't know, an anti-business climate? And or its jumpstart payroll tax, which is specifically a tax that Amazon has to pay for employees in the city of Seattle, an additional 2.5%. So if Amazon's going to fire some people, fire those in Seattle. Think that might be part of the problem? Let's get into it. Here we go. So this past week is roller coaster for Amazon employees. Basically, Amazon employees got notified by the media that, hey, we got a whole bunch of cuts coming. That was this past Monday. And then Amazon notified their employees on Tuesday. A lot of those Amazon folks were up all night. Do I have a job? Am I going to be able to pay the mortgage? Am I going to have to look for a job elsewhere? You got all kinds of tech cuts coming right now. And I can't help but think that all this stuff about, well, it's all AI. It's like, okay. This is an efficiency cutting, right? This is an efficiency herding, because as Amazon is cutting people, as Facebook are cutting people, these major companies are exceeding Wall Street's expectations, and they're having record-breaking quarters, quarter after quarter after quarter with revenue, right? And their stock prices continue to rise. So it's all about making money. It's corporate making money. Not that hard to figure out. Let's watch a quick video about just kind of what's going on. Here we go.
In a notice sent to employees this morning, the company says 14,000 corporate jobs are being cut. The senior VP of People Experience and Technology goes on to say they will continue to keep hiring into next year.
KARA 7's Jake Chapman is live outside the Spheres in downtown Seattle. And Jake, you spoke with one of those employees that lost their job.
That's right, Ellen Monique, and she tells me she worked at the downtown office here in South Lake Union, and she says this was the first news she woke up to this morning. But come 90 days, her office space here will be empty.
Gone.
It's one thing to hear about it.
And our team was talking about it.
It's another
And I see the email that I was impacted by the layoffs.
to go through it.
I don't know what happens now. Just kind of in disbelief.
We spoke with this Amazon employee who we aren't naming or showing. She was one of the 14,000 company-wide layoffs at Amazon. And she tells me what stings the most about it. She just moved here 6 months ago for the job.
I'm the only one out here. Was just starting to form a community, but I don't know if I stay in Seattle or if I move to find another job. Yeah.
But those who worked at Amazon aren't the only ones frustrated.
I really wish they'd stop doing this, because it is it's going up, oh, back down.
So are neighboring.
You want the business cycle to level itself out so that you can sell more of your young bites, whatever, right? It's like, okay, we get it. You sell to Amazon people. Businesses fluctuate. They go up and down. Sometimes we have extended things called recessions. Sometimes we have extended development periods where things are just going great. But the guarantee is that nothing stays the same. So, these youngsters just talking nonsense about nonsense.
Businesses outside the Amazon spheres.
But we have such a customer base here that it would be pretty hard to rebuild elsewhere.
We spoke with several employees off camera. A few claim that some impacted found out through news reports before the company said anything. So we reached out to Amazon if that was the case, but have not heard back. As those laid off.
That's what I heard from somebody from Amazon as well. They read in the media, hey, these cuts are coming. And then they found out basically on Tuesday.
Search for new work.
If you had a message for Amazon through this, what would it be?
I think they should really reevaluate and think long-term of the impacts that these job losses have.
They calculated them into their bottom line, and they said, you're fired. That's how corporate operates. These are corporate gigs, right? If you're Amazon, this is not a family-run business. This is a massive, massive conglomerate and one of the biggest, companies in the world, and they are going to hire and fire your ass at will. I mean, absolutely at will, right? I want you to take a look at, got a chart here. I got a chart here. So you tell me what the deal is, all right? You tell me what the deal is. Let's go like this. Now remember, Amazon's got to pay 2.5% on Amazon's got a payroll over 8.5 million. So Seattle, in its genius move, I mean, Seattle is just filled with so many political geniuses, decided, hey, let's take our biggest employer, Amazon, and if they make over 8.5 million, we're going to tax them 2.5% additional because you're just squeezing money out of the golden cow, right? They're just squeezing money out. So when it comes time to cutting a bunch of positions, where do you think they're going to cut from? Yeah, interesting. All right, so Seattle, get my yellow pointer out. Got Seattle, 1,887. By far, the vast majority of these cuts, 2,300 total in the state of Washington, 1,800 in Seattle, 284 in Bellevue. I mean, they need to fire some people in Bellevue just so it doesn't look so lopsided. And guess what? There's a handful of people. 284 people in Bellevue, that's nothing. Right? That is absolutely nothing. And to be honest, 1,887 in Seattle, yeah, that hurts. But what hurts even more is that Amazon has already been moving all these employees to Bellevue. Interesting note, remote, 116. Shit canned. Just boom, gone. Specifically, if you are working remote and you've been called back to one of the big centers, whether it's Austin, whether it's Seattle, wherever, and you have not done that, fired, right? Fired. So is there a mandate from local governments? Hey, we're gonna work this kind of deal with you and you get this tax break, but you need all your employees back in the office so that we can reap the benefits of that trickle-down effect when we're not firing said employees because you're costing us an additional 2.5% on their payroll. And this is all about cost-cutting measures, right? You got AI coming in. They're getting more efficient. They're canning people because you don't need these guys anymore. Now, this set of cuts has been deemed to be corporate at the corporate level. Got about 350,000 Amazon employees, and this is part of a $30,000 employee culling. And so, 10%. 14,000 in this one right here, 2,200, 2,300 in the state of Washington, and most of those in Seattle. So, Seattle has been at odds with Amazon for years and years and years. You got 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗏, who basically ran on, hey, I'll tax Amazon. We'll see how that goes. This is how that is going. Amazon is not only firing the most from Seattle, which you could argue, hey, we got 50,000 employees there. We got a big employment base. Yeah, but you got 14,000 in Bellevue, and you continually move more and more and more to Bellevue because Seattle, let's admit it, is filled with a bunch of socialist nut jobs, right? And they don't understand, if you tax big business, they can move away. They're already moving away. This isn't that hard to work out, right? Amazon layoffs threaten Seattle's payroll tax. Interesting. And holiday sales revenue. Well, you got a lot of people that are kind of hunkering down and people not in tech hunkering down because so much here trickles down from what happens at Amazon and Facebook and Meta and, just everything else that's out there. Amazon is laying off 2,300 Washington-based employees with 1,887 in Seattle alone. It's a move projected to deal a multi-million-dollar blow to the city's tax revenues at a time where they can afford them the least. That's what you get when you make knuckleheaded moves like Seattle has done. And they don't seem to care. They just don't seem to care. from the standpoint of, hey, what can we do to make business easier for you to accomplish in the city of Seattle? Instead, they want to push them out like communists. That's what they're doing. Right? Oh, let's put a jumpstart tax. Let's throw another tax on top of there. Let's make everything super expensive. Just everything. How about Ubers? Super expensive. DoorDash, super expensive. You name it. It's expensive in Seattle. E-commerce giant announced 14,000 corporate jobs out of 30,000, 10% corporate staff. Yeah, we covered that. Tax, which ranges from 7.75 to 2.5. Yeah, we covered that. And this is any big tech company. So what you've got going on is you've got a city that has so much in the way of just nonsensical expenditures, trying to figure out how to meet the budget deficit. They're taxing big business. They're taxing anything and everything that they can. Washington State's doing the same thing. Oh, we got to, fund all this ridiculous nonsense. Let's tax that. Let's tax that. It's kind of like in California. Hey, we got a, multi-billion-dollar deficit. Let's go ahead and tax. Let's throw a 5% tax on top of billionaires. They're literally considering that right now. Think billionaires won't move from California in droves? Just like, yep, out, yep, out, yep, out. Layoffs will indirectly affect sales tax revenue in Seattle. As Drew has pointed out in the upcoming start of this holiday season, it's important for overall sales tax collection. The affected employees will spend less, but even those employees that have not been laid off will likely cut back on spending, limit big ticket purchases, discretionary spending on goods and services. Seattle doesn't care. They could give a rip. They've got their socialist ideology and they're going to run with it. My question would be, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you? You've got more people leaving the state of Washington than coming in right now. You just do. And so much of it has to do with people can't afford to live here anymore. It's too expensive. People are moving out of apartment complexes because I think the average apartment, 2-bedroom apartment in Seattle, not in Seattle, but in King County is like $2,600. And in Seattle, I think it's like $3,800 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Not a mortgage, an apartment. Just wildly expensive. So when all the revenue is starting to shrink, which it has been, it's been contracting, you've only got one way to go, and that is to tax more. So as Amazon pulls out more employees from Seattle, they're going to become more and more desperate. Just going to start taxing whatever, right? Here's kind of a reality check from our own mayor who's in the battle of his life to hold his office. Seattle city leaders, including Mayor Bruce Harrell, have voiced concerns about Amazon relocating thousands of jobs from Seattle offices to its expanding campus in nearby Bellevue, a couple of miles right from here. While some jobs are being moved from older Seattle buildings to new Bellevue towers, company's overall headcount in Seattle has decreased due to both relocations and recent layoffs. As part of the retail giant's long-term strategy to consolidate its regional growth in Bellevue, where we have a pro-business outlook, unlike commie Seattle. Yeah, commie Seattle. Hey, let's tax the rich and give it to all these people out on the streets. It's going to be great. Socialist utopia. Let's just run with it. What could go wrong? Well, you're watching it happen. You're literally watching it in real time happen. And you have a bunch more people that'll get fired. No, what happened? Well, remember that tax you did? It's kind of like when you raise the minimum wage for Starbucks workers to like $26, and then you got to close a whole bunch of those Starbucks stores because they don't financially pan out. So then your minimum wage has gone from $26 to zero. How's that math? Is that mathing? That's what happens. Yeah. Cause and effect, right? Yeah, we don't really want to have business here. All we want to do is just take their tax revenue and not really support them. You know how you know Seattle doesn't really support them? Because big tech has had to basically cover safety for its own streets for years. They've got all these independent, or not independent, but they've got all of these security guards that roam around because there aren't enough police. And City of Seattle doesn't really support public safety. Just don't. It's a free-for-all. But in the South Lake Union corridor, where you've got all those tech companies and those big buildings, specifically the Amazon buildings, for the most part, it's pretty safe because they pay for their own security. So why pay for your own security when you're paying for an additional 2.5% on top of payroll tax, on top of a slew of other nonsense that you don't have to deal with in Bellevue? Right here. Right here. Why would you do that? They're not. So fired. Doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's not a shocker by any means whatsoever. Amazon layoffs hit software engineers hardest in Washington. Now, I've been seeing, okay, it's 30,000 corporate, okay, but then they say it's, you've got software engineers in there, you've got this, you've got that. Yeah, whatever. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Oftentimes, then Amazon will say, well, we're analyzing all positions. This is an efficiency drive for us. I just find it interesting. The vast majority are in Seattle. So yeah, there you go. Right. Here's kind of what they're saying. Saying more than 500 manager level titles were also heavily affected by Amazon's layoffs, lining with a company-wide push to use the cutbacks to help reduce bureaucracy. What a bunch of corporate stuff. Amazon also made reductions in recruiting and HR roles. Other impacted areas include marketing, advertising, and legal. Isn't that about every single damn category? I think that's what's going on, right? Cut. And they're basically saying, oh, yeah, it's more efficient with AI, so we don't need as many people. They just overhired. All of tech overhired wildly during the pandemic. This is one of those job cutting periods where you're like, why is it all happening at once? Because that's how it goes. It's not like one company just all of a sudden. All of these companies are having record-breaking revenue. They are beating Wall Street's expectations almost every single call, right? And so then you're left with, well, why are they firing? Well, because it's more efficient. You fire a bunch of positions that you realize, hey, maybe we can get this done with AI, and then you work it out later. If you can't, well, then you lost a little opportunity on revenue and you got to hire some more people back. That's how this whole thing goes. That is how Seattle works. That's how Bellevue works. You've got a lot of play, and it's play in people's lives. Because all of a sudden you got people signing contracts on real estate. We haven't had that happen on anything personally that I know of. But I'm sure it's bound to happen. Hey, that one deal flipped because the wife got fired or the husband got fired, or there's job insecurity and they're not really sure. Their entire sales team got fired with the exception of them, and they think their time is coming. So therefore they would like to not move forward with their $3.5 million purchase, which is a starter home of 1,500 square feet. I'm wildly exaggerating those numbers, but not by much. Wild how expensive it is here. So, did Seattle get targeted? I think so. Because ask yourself, if you're Amazon, why wouldn't you fire Seattle employees? You've made the statement, hey, you want to move them to Bellevue anyway. Fire them? You don't even have to move them. Just, hey, guys, come in and clean out your desk. It's go time. See ya. Right? The whole corporate thing is just brutal. Just taking people's lives and dumping them upside down. There you go. Figure it out. Start over. But that's the flip side, right? You get huge stock benefits, or you should. Income is, you meet these expectations, we'll pay you this. Big money. It's always, big money. Until it's not. Until those Starbucks employees, I wonder if that $26 minimum wage had anything to do with it. I can't really work that out. Yeah. And same thing, 2.5% Amazon tax. Same thing. Think about that, right? These things all have causation, right? Cause and effect. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.